The rain-slicked streets of Elmwood, Ohio, gleamed under the sodium lamps like a bad memory I couldn't outrun, and there he was, Jake Harlan, all grown up in that crisp blue uniform, badge glinting like a taunt from fate itself. My heart slammed against my ribs as our eyes locked through the steam-fogged window of the coffee shop where I'd hidden for the last 5 years, pretending this town hadn't carved me hollow. He pushed open the door, bell jingling like a starting whistle, and in that split second, I knew avoiding him forever was a lie I'd told myself since graduation. I ducked behind the espresso machine before he could spot me fully, my hands shaking as I pretended to grind beans that were already ground. Elmwood hadn't changed much since high school. A cluster of brick storefronts hugging the edge of cornfields that stretched into forever, the kind of place where everyone knew your business before you did. I'd come back after college because mom's chemo bills didn't pay themselves, and the local bookstore gig turned into slinging lattes at Brew Haven when the economy tanked. It was steady, anonymous enough, until tonight. Jake Harlan, the Golden Boy quarterback who'd led the Eagles to state finals twice, was back. Not as some washed-up salesman, but as Officer Harlan, fresh from the academy in Columbus. Word spread faster than flu season. He'd aced training, married to his high school sweetheart for a hot minute before it fizzled, and now patrolling the streets like he owned them all over again. Alex. His voice cut through the hiss of the milk frother, deep and familiar, laced with that easy confidence that used to make my stomach twist. I froze, apron strings suddenly too tight. The shop was empty save for Mrs. Hargrove in the corner, nursing her chamomile and eavesdropping like it was her civic duty. No escape. I straightened, forcing a neutral smile that felt like cracking plaster. Evening, officer. What can I get you? Keep it professional. Keep it distant. That's what I'd practiced in the mirror every morning since hearing the rumors. He leaned on the counter, elbows planted like he was calling a play, his frame filling the space in a way that made the air feel thinner. Up close, the boyish edges had sharpened, jawline etched from late-night gym sessions, eyes that held storms I'd only glimpsed back then. Just a black coffee large. For the road. He scanned the menu board, but his gaze kept drifting back to me, probing. Didn't expect to see you here. Thought you'd bolt after graduation. Art school in New York or something. I poured the coffee, steam rising like a veil between us. Life had other plans. Sugar. Nah. You look good, man. Older, but solid. There it was, that Harlan charm, disarming and dangerous. I slid the cup over, avoiding his fingers as they brushed mine. Electric. Unwanted. Hey, you hear about the vandalism downtown? Kids tagging the old mill. Departments swamped already. Small talk. Safe territory. Yeah, heard. Elmwood's Wild West. I wiped the counter harder than necessary, willing him to take his coffee and go. But he lingered, sipping slow, like he had all night. Listen, Alex. We should catch up. Grab a beer sometime. For old times' sake. Old times. The words landed like a blindside tackle. I laughed, short and sharp, the sound echoing off the tiled walls. Old times weren't exactly beer-worthy, Jake. Shift ends in 10. Enjoy the coffee. I turned away, busying myself with restocking cups, but I felt his stare boring into my back, heavy with questions he had no right to ask. The bell jingled again as he left, and I exhaled, slumping against the sink. 10 years, and one look unraveled me. What the hell was I supposed to do now? The next morning, sunlight pierced the blinds of my cramped apartment above the shop, pulling me from a dream where Jake's hands were on my shoulders, not shoving, but steadying. I shook it off, splashing cold water on my face, the mirror reflecting a guy who'd built walls higher than the county fair Ferris wheel. At 28, I was out and proud in theory, but Elmwood wasn't San Francisco. Dates were rare, hookups non-existent. The last guy ghosted after his buddies found out. Friendships? A tight circle. Lena, my barista sidekick with her rainbow pins and zero filter, and Theo, the bookstore owner who'd become the brother I never had. Work dragged until lunch, when Lena burst through the back door, her purple-streaked hair wild from the wind. Spill. Mrs. Hargrove texted the group chat. Hot cop was in here last night, giving you the eyes. Details. I rolled my eyes, handing her an apron. It was nothing. Black coffee, chit-chat. He's delusional if he thinks we're buds. Delusional? Or repressed? She waggled her eyebrows, tying the strings with flair. Lena knew the high school saga. How Jake's crew had made my locker a daily joke. Slurs scrawled in marker until I scrubbed them off in the bathroom stalls. How I'd crushed on him anyway, stupid and silent, until the night of junior prom when he'd caught me staring too long and sneered. Freak. Loud enough for the whole gym to hear. Guys back and suddenly Mr. Friendly? Classic closet case move. Not my circus, not my monkeys. But doubt not. Why now? Why me? The afternoon rush kept me sane. Farmers in flannel, moms with strollers, until closing when the door swung open again. Not Jake. Theo, arms loaded with dog-eared paperbacks from a library sale. Rescue mission, he announced, dumping them on a table. Theo was all lanky limbs and wire-rimmed glasses, a transplant from Cleveland who'd stayed for the quiet. And intel, Harlan's patrolling your route home. Coincidence? I snorted, locking the register. In Elmwood? Please. Everyone's route is the same 3 blocks. We walked out together, the cool October air crisp with fallen leaves crunching underfoot. Streetlights flickered on early, casting long shadows that danced like accusations. Halfway to my place, blue lights flashed ahead, a fender bender at the intersection. And there, directing traffic with that authoritative wave, was Jake. He spotted us immediately, jogging over with a nod to Theo. Evening, folks. Minor mix-up, should be cleared in 5. His eyes locked on mine again, unyielding. Alex, walk you home? Old habit from back in the day. Theo coughed into his fist. I got him, officer. Scout's honor. Jake's smile didn't reach his eyes. Suit yourself. Night, Alex. He tipped his hat. Actual hat tip, like we were in a western, and sauntered back to the chaos. Theo whistled low once we were clear. Old habit? What? Protecting the gay kid from bullies he led. Theo's voice was light, but his grip on my arm tightened. Something's off. Be careful. I nodded, but sleep evaded me that night. Jake's face haunted the ceiling cracks, confused, almost hurt. Why avoid him? The question echoed in my head, the one he'd whispered last night like it was a puzzle. Because you broke me, I wanted to scream. Because you're a freak still echoes in my nightmares. But part of me, buried deep, wondered if he'd changed. Or if I had. Days blurred into a routine of evasion. Side streets to work, early mornings at the gym when patrols were light. Lena teased relentlessly. Theo hovered like a worried hen. Then Friday hit. Game night at O'Malley's, the dive bar where Elmwood pretended it was progressive. I went for the wings, stayed for the watered-down beer, and the jukebox's mercy on my mood. The place was packed, alums reliving glory days, cheerleaders turned soccer moms. I nursed a pint in the corner booth with Lena and Theo when the door banged open, admitting a gust of chill and Jake, off-duty in jeans and a faded Eagles hoodie. He scanned the room, zeroed in on me like a heat-seeking missile. Before I could bolt, he was sliding into the seat across from us, beer in hand. Room for one more? No was on my tongue, but Lena beat me to it. Always for hometown heroes. Buy a round. She winked, and Theo shot me an apologetic shrug. Jake laughed, that rich sound that used to boom across football fields, and flagged the waitress. Talk flowed easy at first, Crops sucking it up this year, the new multiplex in Dayton. But his knee brushed mine under the table, accidental maybe, and I jerked away like burned. He noticed, brow furrowing. Alex, level with me. What's the deal? You act like I kicked your dog every time I show up. Lena and Theo exchanged glances, excusing themselves for darts. Cowards. Alone now, the booth felt like a confessional. I stared into my glass, bubbles rising like unspoken truths. You really don't get it, do you? My voice came out steadier than I felt. High school wasn't all touchdowns and tailgates for everyone, Jake. Some of us were just trying to survive. His face shifted, confusion cracking into something raw. What do you mean? We were kids. Dumb kids. Dumb? Or cruel? The words spilled before I could stop them. Your pranks, the names, fairy, queerbait. Locked me in the equipment shed once, remember? Laughed while I pounded on the door for an hour. Silence stretched, thick as the bar's cigarette haze. Jake's hand clenched around his bottle, knuckles white. Shit. Alex, that was Tyler's idea. I went along because... Hell, I don't know. Pressure. Popularity. But I never meant. You did. And it stuck. I stood, chair scraping loud. Enjoy the game highlights. I'm out. Outside, the parking lot gravel bit my sneakers as I paced, breath fogging in the night air. Footsteps crunched behind me. Jake, coatless, hoodie zipped high. Wait, please. He grabbed my arm, gentle but firm, spinning me to face him. Up close, under the lot's harsh floodlight, he looked wrecked, eyes shadowed, jaw tight. I was an asshole. Worse, I knew you were. Different. And I targeted you because it scared me. Scared me how much I didn't hate it. My pulse thundered. What? He released me, stepping back, hands raking through his hair. Prom night. You in that stupid bow tie, staring at me across the gym. I called you freak because if I didn't, I'd have to admit I was staring back. Pulled all-nighter sketching plays, but half the time I was doodling your name in the margins. Pathetic, right? Captain Straight playing pretend. The world tilted. Lies I'd told myself shattered. Jake, the bully, harboring the same secret shame? You're full of it. Why tell me now? Because I'm tired of pretending. Came back to Elmwood to fix what I broke. Starting with you. His voice cracked. Vulnerability I'd never seen. Rain started, soft patter turning to downpour, soaking us both. I should have walked away. Instead, I stepped closer, the heat of him cutting the cold. Prove it, I whispered, the challenge hanging between us like a dare. He did, with a tentative brush of knuckles against my cheek, then a pull into his chest, heartbeat sinking with mine under the storm. No kiss. Not yet, just the raw ache of what could be. But as thunder rolled, sirens wailed distant, a reminder that Elmwood's eyes were always watching. And some secrets, once cracked open, couldn't be resealed. The downpour eased to a drizzle by the time we broke apart, clothes clinging like second skins, the weight of his confession settling heavy in my gut. Jake offered his jacket, damp flannel that smelled of pine and regret, and I took it, wrapping it around my shoulders as we trudged to his cruiser parked crooked at the lot's edge. I'll drive you home, he said, not a question. I nodded, too raw for protests, the engine's hum filling the silence as Elmwood's wet streets blurred past. He pulled up to my building, a sagging Victorian split into apartments, porch light buzzing like a faulty halo. This isn't over, Alex. Breakfast tomorrow? My treat. Neutral ground, diner on 5th. I hesitated, fingers on the door handle. Part of me screamed run, barricade the door with every bad memory. But the boy who'd sketched my name? That Jake felt worth the risk. 8 a.m., don't be late. His grin flashed, boyish and relieved. Wouldn't dream of it. I watched his taillights fade, then climbed the stairs, peeling off wet layers in the dim hall light. My phone buzzed. Lena alive? Spill tomorrow. I texted back a thumbs up, collapsing onto the bed where sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with locker room echoes and rain-slick embraces. Morning broke crisp, frost etching the window panes, and I dressed careful, jeans that fit just right, a Henley that hid the nerves. The diner smelled of bacon grease and percolated hope, vinyl booths cracked from decades of small-town drama. Jake was there early, nursing coffee at a window table, uniform swapped for a button-down that strained across his shoulders. He stood when I approached, awkward gallantry that almost made me smile. Order whatever. On me. We settled on eggs and hash, conversations skirting the edges, his academy stories, my failed graphic design stint in the city. But the undercurrent pulled strong, words laced with what-ifs. You ever think about leaving for good? He asked, forking potatoes. This town's a time capsule. Every day? But family roots you. Mom's in remission now, Dad's got the farm. Where else would I go? Truth was, I'd stayed for penance too, proving I could thrive where I'd withered. He nodded, gaze distant. I bounced around after college. Pittsburgh PD for a bit, but it was all big city bullshit. Came back because unfinished business. His foot nudged mine under the table, deliberate this time. No pull away. Heat bloomed low, unspoken promise. Post-breakfast, he walked me to the shop, hands in pockets, shoulders brushing. Shift starts soon. But tonight, movie at the drive-in? They're showing that old rom-com marathon. No pressure. I laughed, genuine. Rom-coms? You're full of surprises, Harlan. Only the good ones. He lingered at the door, close enough I could count the flecks in his eyes. Then he was gone, patrol calling, and I dove into the rush, Lena's interrogation waiting. She cornered me during lull. So, cop boy's a stalker or a stalker with potential? Potential. Maybe. I confessed the prom revelation, her eyes widening like saucers. Holy plot twist. But watch it. Harlan's have history. His dad was the sheriff who raided that Pride rally last summer, remember? Called it public nuisance. Ice trickled down my spine. Old Sheriff Harlan, bull-necked and Bible-thumping, had been Jake's shadow, pushing him into sports, steering clear of deviance. If Jake was serious, coming out here would be war. But doubt crept. Was this real, or small-town boredom playing dress-up? The day spiraled, rush-hour caffeine addicts, a spilled latte disaster, until evening, when the shop phone rang. Theo, trouble. Get to the bar. Now. O'Malley's was tense, air thick with whispers. Theo waved me to a back table where Lena nursed a soda, face pale. Overheard Tyler and the crew, Jake's old posse, talking smack about you too. Saw you leave together last night. My stomach dropped. Tyler Grant, Jake's right hand back then, now a mechanic with a beer gut and grudge. What did they say? Enough. Ferry's got the quarterback twisted. Planning a welcome back for Jake. Booze and bullshit. You need to warn him. I bolted. Phone out. Texting Jake. Heads up. Tyler's stirring shit. Meet at my place. Reply instant. On way. 10 minutes. He arrived windswept. Cruiser double parked. Concern etching lines around his mouth. Upstairs, my apartment felt too small. Couch sagging under us as I relayed the intel. His jaw clenched. Tyler's always been a hothead. I'll handle it. How? Punch out your best friend. Sarcasm masked fear. Fear of the town turning, of Jake folding under pressure like before. He turned, hand cupping my knee, thumb tracing circles that sent sparks up my thigh. Not punching, talking. And if he pushes, I'm done playing their game. Leaning in, breath warm against my ear. This, us, it's not a phase. Been waiting a decade to say that. Words failed. Instead, I closed the gap, foreheads touching, the world narrowing to his steady gaze. No rush, no fire, just connection, fragile and fierce. His lips brushed my temple, chased promise, before he pulled back. Gotta go. Duty calls. But tomorrow, we talk real. No hiding. He left, and I paced till dawn, mind racing. Friendship or more. The line blurred, pulling me under. Monday brought gray skies and gossip mill grinding. At work, customers side-eyed, whispers trailing like smoke. Lena manned the counter solo while I hid in the back. Inventory a flimsy excuse. Mid-afternoon, the bell chimed insistent. Jake, uniform starched, expression thunderous. Need a word. Outside. No hello. I followed to the alley, heart hammering as he paced the dumpster shadows. Tyler's crew trashed my truck last night. Slurs on the hood. Traitor fag. Cops are calling it kids, but I know better. His voice cracked, fists balled. Dad's furious. Says I'm disgracing the badge. Pulled strings to keep it quiet. Guilt crashed, my fault, drawing fire. Jake, No. He stopped, framing my face with calloused hands. This is on them. On me, for not shutting it down sooner. But you? You're the best thing I've chased since that state championship. Then, soft. I love you, Alex. Always have. Hated myself for it back then. Not anymore. Tears stung, hot, and unbidden. Love's a big word for a small town. Then let's make it bigger. He kissed me then, slow, deliberate, tasting of coffee and courage. Alley walls closed in, but for once, they felt like shelter. We broke apart at footsteps. Lena, peeking with a grin. Customers. And applause from one. Reality intruded, but lighter now. Jake squeezed my hand. Dinner tonight. My place. I'll cook. Promise it's edible. I nodded, watching him go, the weight lifting inch by inch. But as the door swung shut, a squad car idled across the street. Dad Harlan's silhouette unmistakable behind the wheel, staring daggers. The war had just begun. That evening, Jake's bungalow on Oak Lane was a time warp. Framed jerseys on walls, faded glory photos. He stirred spaghetti sauce with focus, apron tied loose over jeans, domesticity suiting him odd and perfect. We ate at a scarred oak table, candles flickering against the chill, conversation dipping into depths. Tell me about the city, he said, twirling pasta. What broke you enough to come back? Everything and nothing. Hustle was real, but lonely. Dates that fizzled, jobs that ghosted. Realized running doesn't erase roots. I sipped wine, bold from the red. You? Why cop? Dad's legacy. And redemption. Wanted to protect what I couldn't before. His fork paused. Like you. Vulnerability hung, and I reached across, lacing fingers. You're doing okay so far. Laughter eased tension, but post-dinner, on the couch with a game flickering muted, it built again. His arm draped casual, head on my shoulder, the solid warmth of him eroding walls. Missed this, he murmured. Just being. Me too. Whispers led to shifts, bodies aligning natural, his hand tracing my jaw. Kiss deepened, exploratory, lips parting, breaths mingling, but we stopped at heat's edge, foreheads pressed, hearts sinking. Slow, he said, voice rough. Want to do this right. We did. Nights blending shifts and stolen moments. Walks in the park where leaves crunched underfoot, hands brushing bold. Theo approved over beers. He's smitten, kid. Real deal. Lena plotted double dates, her girlfriend Mia in tow. But cracks spidered. Whispers turned to stares. A rainbow sticker vanished from my truck overnight. Jake's patrols stretched long, Dad's influence looming. Then, 2 weeks in, the bomb dropped. I was closing shop when the door flew open. Tyler, reeking of whiskey, eyes bloodshot. You poison Ruiz. Turning him queer? Harlan blood run straight. I backed up, counter at my spine. Get out, Ty? Before I call. He lunged, bottle shattering on the floor, but sirens wailed. Jake, bursting in, tackling him clean. Cuffs clicked, Tyler snarling slurs as they hauled him away. In the aftermath, Jake held me, shaking. I'm sorry. So damn sorry. Not your fault. But it was ours, this love defying the town's script. Sheriff Harlan's office next morning was a lion's den. Plaid curtains, wanted posters yellowed. Dad Harlan loomed behind the desk, mustache bristling. Sit. Jake did, me beside, hand hidden under the table. Tyler's charged. Assault, vandalism. But this, sideshow with the barista, ends now. Badge or family, boy. Choose. Jake's chin lifted. Already chose. Alex stays. So do I, out and proud. Your rules, not mine. Silence deafened. Then explosion. Disgrace. Out now. Jake stood, pulling me up. You're lost, Dad. We left, back straight. Elmwood's main drag a gauntlet of stairs. At the cruiser, Jake exhaled. Free. Finally. But freedom's price loomed. Transfers whispered, friends fracturing. As winter nipped, I wondered, could love weather the storm? Snow dusted Elmwood by Thanksgiving, blanketing fields in deceptive peace, but the town's underbelly churned. Jake's coming out hit like a blizzard. Headlines in the Gazette skewed neutral, but talk radio frothed, callers decrying agenda in uniform. His dad stonewalled, shifts reassigned to backwater routes, but Jake wore defiance like a second skin, patrol car radio crackling with resolve. We carved a bubble, holidays at my folks', where Mom hugged him fierce, any friend of Alex's, and Dad grunted approval over turkey, ice soft. Theo hosted game nights, Lena's laughter a shield. Intimacy deepened, no rush to bed sheets, but mornings tangled in my sheets, coffee brewing slow, his fingers mapping my spine like uncharted territory. Yet misunderstandings festered. One night, post-shift, Jake arrived hollow-eyed, uniform rumpled. Ran into Sarah, my ex. At the station. She heard. Said I'm throwing away everything for a whim. I poured whiskey neat. Whim. Or truth? Truth. He downed it, coughing. But doubt creeps. What if she's right? Town's turning, Alex. Your truck got keyed last week. Know who? I hadn't told him. Kids. Probably. Lie. Tire marks screamed Tyler's crew, out on bail. But burdening him? No. He saw through. Don't. We're in this. Kiss followed, urgent, chasing shadows. But as he left for graveyard shift, my phone lit. Unknown. Freak deserves the rope. Back off, Harlan. Chills settled bone deep. I deleted, but sleep fled, Theo's words echoing. Prejudice doesn't die quiet. December brought the festival, lights strung across the square, carolers belting off-key. Jake and I manned a booth for the shop, selling spice cider, mittens brushing as we poured. Laughter flowed, but eyes pricked. Old classmates murmuring, kids pointed. Then Mia, Lena's girl, all curls and fire, stormed up, face streaked. They slashed her tires. At the salon. Called her dyke, said next time it's her face. Rage boiled. Jake's cop instincts kicked. Where? I'll check. We piled into his cruiser, Lena sobbing in the back. Crime scene was ugly. Tires shredded, slurs carved into doors. Jake dusted for prints, jaw granite, while I held Lena, Theo arriving with blankets. Guaranteed. Jake straightened. This ends. Tonight. Station was chaos. Tyler arrested again, crew scattering like roaches. But in interrogation, he cracked ugly. Harlan's gone soft. Banging the ferry? Town's poison now. Charges piled, but release loomed, daddy's strings. Jake slammed the door, finding me in the waiting room. He's lying. About everything but the hate. I pulled him close, hallway empty. We fight smarter. Together. New Year's Eve dawn brittle. Invite to the town hall bash. Neutral ground? Jake pushed. Show face. Own it. We dressed sharp. Me in wool overcoat. Him in civvies that hugged just right. Hall twinkled. Balloons bobbing, but air crackled. Dances swirled, but we stuck to edges, punch in hand. Then Sarah approached, elegant in red, smile brittle. Jake. Alex. Congrats. Venom sweet. He stiffened. Thanks. You. Fine. Engaged now. Real man. Jab landed, but I squeezed his hand. Visible, bold. Congrats, I said even. She flounced, but seeds sown, whispers amplified. Midnight neared, countdown building. Jake tugged me to the floor, arms loose. Dance with me. Not here. Panic spiked, spotlight of stairs. Here. Insistent, spinning me slow to the band's croon. Eyes locked, world faded. Auld Lang Syne swelled. Cheers erupted, but undercover, his lips met mine. Brief, electric. Ball dropped on the screen, confetti rained. Applause mixed jeers, faint, but there. We pulled apart, breathless. Worth it, he murmured. But outside, shadows waited. Truck wouldn't start, battery dead, wires cut. Jake cursed, calling tow. They're escalating. Fear not. We leave. Start fresh. His eyes searched mine. Together? Yeah, but not running. Facing. Resolution hardened, but dawn brought fracture. Call from dispatch. Jake suspended. Conflict of interest after the salon bust. Dad's doing. Take time, they said. Reevaluate. He stormed to the farm. Confrontation biblical. I followed, waiting in the truck as shouts echoed. You're no son of mine. Door slammed. Jake emerged, duffel slung, face carved. Dad's cut me off. House job gone. Hollow laugh. Free fall. My arms enveloped him, driveway gravel sharp. My place. Ours. We drove silent, snow swirling. Apartment felt sanctuary, fire crackling in the grate Theo gifted, cocoa steaming. Curled on the rug, his head in my lap, fingers combing blonde strands. What now? I whispered. Us. Police elsewhere, Columbus maybe. You? Art again. We build. Hope flickered, but prejudice's echo lingered. Phone buzzed, Mom. Heard. Strong. Love you both. Simple words, armor. But as night deepened, Jake stirred. One thing. High school. After the shed, I waited outside till you came out. Cried like a baby. Wanted to say sorry, but Tyler dragged me off. Revelation stung sweet. Idiot. Yours. Sleep claimed him, peaceful. January thawed slow, job hunts grinding. Jake interviewing statewide. Me sketching logos for local biz, portfolio dusting off. Theo hooked connections. Lena rallied support, pride flags sprouting defiant. But conflict crested mid-month. Anonymous tip, Tyler's crew planning rally crash, counter-protest at the mill, armed with more than signs. Jake mobilized, off-duty, but wired in. Stay put, he ordered, kissing fierce. Like hell. I grabbed coat, Theo and Lena piling in. Mill loomed dark, floodlights harsh on the crowd. Ours rainbow bright, theirs red-faced roar. Chants clashed, love wins, versus slurs venomous. Then bottles flew, scuffle erupted. Jake waded in, badge flashing borrowed, pulling apart foes. I dove after, shielding a teen with a by flag, elbow connecting with jaw, mine. Chaos swirled. Sirens wailed true now. State troopers, unbiased. Arrests reigned. Tyler cuffed Central, snarling defeat. In the melee's wake, Jake found me, ice on my swelling eye. Hero, you too. Entwined, we watched dawn break, Mill's silhouette stark. But victory bittersweet, suspension lifted, but transfer forced. Dayton, hours south. Come, he asked, tentative. Heart swelled. Pack the truck. Prejudice's grip loosened, but scars mapped us. Love's terrain rugged, rewarding. As we loaded boxes, Elmwood watched wary, but a few waved. Theo, Lena, even Mom with pie. Highway stretched, future open. Jake's hand in mine, radio crooning soft. Ready? Always. Dayton buzzed electric, a sprawl of steel and glass eclipsing Elmwood's hush. Traffic humming constant. Coffee shops hip with exposed brick and pour-overs. We leased a loft downtown, exposed beams and city views a far cry from sagging porches. Jake settled into precinct life, beat covering arts district, his easy command earning nods from grizzled vets. I landed freelance gigs, logos for startups, murals for cafes, paint splattering counters we shared, laughter echoing off high ceilings. Early days hummed honeymoon, mornings tangled lazy, his shift kisses lingering, evenings with takeout and Netflix, feet entwined. This you, he'd murmur, tracing my collarbone. Artist hands. And you, protector. Truth. But ghosts trailed. Nights he'd wake thrashing, from sneers morphing to alley assaults. I'd soothe. Whispers weaving us tighter, but doubt whispered too. Was this escape or evolution? Spring bloomed, cherry petals dusting sidewalks, when fracture hit subtle. Jake's ex, Sarah, emailed, innocent, wedding invite, as friends. He showed me, brow furrowed. Should I? Burn licked. If closure calls. Lie. Jealousy gnawed, old insecurities rising. Me, the whim. He declined polite, but tension seated. Then work strained. My mural deadline clashed his overtime surge, a string of gallery muggings. Dinners canned, texts curt. Miss you. I'd send. Soon back. Culmination brewed over dinner. Thai, spicy as tempers. You're pulling away. I accused, fork stabbing pad CEW. He sighed, rubbing temples. Cases piling. And, Dad called. Apology? Sort of. Wants to meet. Neutral. Ice water. Here? After everything. Family. Word heavy. Try. I nodded brittle, but sleep evaded, mind spinning scenarios. Reconciliation pulling him back. Elmwood's orbit reclaiming. Meeting set weekend, Midway Diner. Booth sticky, air fryer greased. Sheriff Harlan arrived crisp, mustache trimmed, eyes wary. Jake sat ramrod. I flanked, silent sentinel. Son. Gruff start. Heard Dayton suits. Good. Does. Kurt. Pause stretched, coffee cooling. About before. Heat of moment. Pride's mine, but blood's thicker. Jake's laugh barked. Pride? Yours cost me everything. Alex too. Eyes flicked my way assessing. Boy's decent. But town's changing slow. Give time. Me? Boy. Rage simmered, but Jake's hand under table steadied. Time's ours now. Accept or not. Your call. Harlan deflated, shoulders sagging. Invite stands. Farms open. Departure awkward. Hug stiff. In the car, Jake exhaled. Step. Small. Proud. I said, but unease lingered, roots tugging. Back home, makeup sex chased doubts, slow, reverent, bodies mapping forgiveness. But morning brought call, Theo, voice tight. Elmwood drama. Lena's salon torched. Arson. Tyler's crew suspected. Heart seized. She okay? Shaken. Mia too. Cops dragging. Your dad's influence. Jake paced, phone glued. I'll drive up. Back up. We went, loft locked, highway blurring. Elmwood smoldered metaphorical. Salon a charred skeleton, yellow tape fluttering. Lena huddled with Mia, soot-streaked but fierce. Insurance fight, she spat. But bastards won't break us. Theo hugged fierce. Heroes return. Investigation dragged. Evidence tampered. Harlan whispers. Jake pushed, off books, pulling strings from Dayton contacts. Nights blurred stakeouts. Me shotgun, thermos passing. Break came midnight. Tyler's garage, shadows shifting. Jake signaled. We crept. Voices low, incriminating. Ferry's fault. Burned the dyke den. Next, the cops queer. Recording captured. Dawn raid followed. Tyler cuffed permanent. Crew crumbling. Charges stuck. Dad sidelined by feds sniffing corruption. Victory parade muted. Lena rebuilding. Pride stronger. But cost tallied. Jake's transfer reviewed. Conflicts. My gigs paused. Elmwood pull undeniable. Drive home silent. City lights welcoming yet alien. Miss it? Jake asked. Parts. You. Us here. But family. Tug of war. I squeezed his thigh. Talk. Confession poured. Scared. Dayton's freedom, but lonely. Want roots, with you. Compromise brewed. Hybrid life. Weekends Elmwood. Weekdays city. Trial run. Summer sweltered. Balance teetering. Weekends. Farm visits thawing. Dad's grunts warming to pass the salt. Alex. Lena's new salon grand opening. Rainbow awning defiant. But city midweek strained. Arguments petty. Forgotten laundry. Late texts. Culmination August heatwave. Loft AC sputtering. You're half gone. I accused. Paintbrush slamming canvas. Abstract storm. Reds bleeding. He recoiled. Uniform half-buttoned. Work. And trying, for us. Us? Or appeasing ghosts? Tears hot. Elmwood's winning. Admit. Silence deafened then, maybe. But love you enough to fight. Embrace followed, sweat slick, desperate. Don't lose me, I whispered. Never. Fall crisped, equilibrium fragile. Gallery show loomed. My first, Dayton Arts Council. Jake cleared schedule. Suit sharp. Pride beaming as critics murmured approval. Knew it, he said post-toast. Arm possessive. High faded fast. Call from mom. Dad sick, prostate shadow. We raced back. Hospital sterile, beeps mocking. Harlan patriarch frail, tubes snaking, but eyes clear. Knew you'd come. To Jake, then me. You too, son-in-law. Gruff, but gift. Vigil blurred days. Reconciliation raw. Stories swapped. Regrets aired. Dad rallied slow, but bond mended. Discharge brought decision. Jake requested transfer back. Sheriff slot opening. Reform promised. With you? He asked, porch swing creaking. Always. But city dreams? Compromise. Remote design. Elmwood studio. Move orchestrated autumn. Leaves flaming. New house. Ours. Fixer-upper with yard for dreams. Unpacking unearthed high school box. Jake's old jersey. My sketchpad doodles. Kept it, he admitted, sheepish. Me too. Laughter healed. Winter whispered peace, but drama's echo. Town council vote. Pride parade permit. Contested. Jake testified. Voice steady. Progress or prejudice. Choose. Vote passed narrow. Flags waving June come. We marched front. Hands clasped. Lena cheering. Theo snapping pics. But personal storm brewed subtle. Jake's ex-doubt resurfaced. Anonymous letters. Whim ends bad. Paranoia spiked. Trust fraying. Confrontation Thanksgiving. Table laden. Family gathered. It's Tyler's ghost, he confessed. Or Dad's. Neither. Us. I pulled him aside. Kitchen warm. Talk. Always. Revelation. Therapy sessions. Unpacking closets. Growth. Painful. New year dawned resolved. Love tempered steel. Spring bloomed mutual. Adoptions whispered. Future sketched. Yet climax loomed unexpected. Accident. Jake's cruiser totaled. Minor crash, but whiplash lingers. Hospital wait. My hand in his. Scared me. Here. Promise sealed. Recovery wove tighter. Elmwood embracing slow. Neighbors nodding. Kids waving rainbows. Summer solstice. Lake picnic. Marry me? Ring simple. Lake glinting. Yes. Kiss sealed. Water lapping witness. Prejudice's embers smoldered, but our fire burned bright. Love, unyielding. 1 year blurred to 2. Engagement ring a quiet anchor on my finger. Dayton's pulse severed clean as we rooted deep in Elmwood soil. The house transformed. Walls splashed murals of our journey. Abstract swirls of blue uniforms and coffee stains. Jake's touch in the herb garden out back. Basil thriving defiant. His sheriff star gleamed polished. Reforms rippling. Sensitivity training's mandatory. Pride liaison badge his pet project. Dad Harlan. Cancer cowed, but spirit unbroken. Mentored grudging. Do better than me, boy. Life's rhythm steadied, but drama's pulse never fully stilled. Lena's wedding to Mia summer 27 was fairy tale fierce. Vows under oaks, us best men in matching bow ties. Jake's speech cracking laughs and tears. Love like yours? Teaches the rest of us. Theo partnered with a quiet librarian. Bookshop expanding to queer lit section. Shelves bending under weight of stories like ours. My studio hummed. Commissions flowing. Murals for schools. Portraits capturing town's evolving face. Jake's shifts balanced better. Nights hours for stargazing porchside. His head on my chest. Fingers tracing constellations. Remember that rain? He'd murmur. Felt like drowning. Now, floating. Intimacy evolved tender. No urgency, just depth. Mornings slow with coffee and caresses. Evenings tangled reading aloud. Voices weaving futures. But misunderstandings, those sly foxes, nipped heels. Fall brought it. Jake's academy buddy visiting. Mark, all bro hugs and beer pong. Stories raunchy with ex's female. Laughter flowed easy, but post-departure, seed sprouted. Ever miss that? I asked casual, sketching by lamplight. He paused, towel mid-rub post-shower. Miss what? The straight life. Easy. Eyes narrowed. Jealous of ghosts. Wary. Honesty raw. Mark's vibe. Reminded me we're outliers here. He crossed, kneeling eye level. Outliers win. You're it, no misses. Kiss dispelled, but doubt's whisper lingered. Worse brewed external. Town hall meeting. Budget cuts threatening the community center. Queer youth hub Theo championed. Protests simmered. Old guard rallying. Waste on specials. Jake mediated, badge neutral, but pressure mounted. Anonymous calls. Sheriff or activist. Pick. Sleepless nights followed. His uniform draped chair back like accusation. Climax cracked November chill. Rally outside hall. Signs clashing. Fund futures versus taxpayer first. Tensions boiled verbal, then physical. Shove, scuffle. Jake intervened. Voice booming calm, but a hurled bottle clipped his temple, blood trickling. Chaos froze me, pushing through, hand to his cheek. Jake. Easy. Dizzy grin. Just a scratch. Medics swarmed, stitches quick, but homecoming heavy. Couch ice back, my hands steadying. Too much, I said, soup simmering. The fight. Necessary. Firm. For them. For us. But fracture showed. Resignation whispers. Burnout etching lines. Maybe desk job. Or private security. Heart ached. Whatever keeps you. Winter solstice brought pivot. Council relented. Funds secured narrow. Victory party at O'Malley's. Toasts ringing. But Jake demurred early. Tired. Home. Fire crackling, he confessed. Burned out. The badge. Dad's shadow too long. Tears pricked. Quit. Reassign. Training officer. Teach, not chase. Relief washed. More us. Spring thawed resolutions, but personal storm gathered. Wedding planning. Simple. Lakeside. Hit snag. Venue cancel. Policy change. Veiled prejudice. Calls iced. Alternatives scarce. Frustration peaked rehearsal dinner eve. Theo's backyard. Lanterns glowing, but my sketch of vows crumpled. They win, I muttered. Jake pulled me aside, crickets chirping witness. No, we choose joy. Vows recited impromptu, rings exchanged mock, real tomorrow. Laughter bubbled, healing. Ceremony dawned perfect, lake mirror calm, guests intimate. Lena officiating, mom dabbing eyes, dad Harlan toasting gruff. To sons, mine now. Vows simple. Through storms, I choose you. Ring slid, kiss sealed under cheers, boat horn whooping distant. Honeymoon cabin bound, Adirondacks whisper quiet, days hiking trails hand in hand, nights firelit stories. Future, he asked, stars wheeling. Kids? Foster maybe. Idea sparked tentative. Teach love. Affirmation. Return brought bliss bubble. Housewarming. Murals unveiled. Jake's training role suiting. Academy runs. Cadets hanging on tails. But summer scorched conflict anew. Old flame flicker. Sarah's husband left. her texts checking in to Jake, old times. Innocent. He showed transparent, but gut twisted. Block her. Done. But trust's bruise throbbed. Escalation. Email chain leaked. Heard of friends. Jake's happy phase. Waited out. Gossip mill ground. Elmwood ears perking. Confrontation brewed coffee run. Her at Brew Haven. Smile saccharine. Alex. Congrats. Thanks. Cool. Jake mention. Old regrets. Probe sharp. None. Exit swift, but report home. Jake's face thunder. Confront. Diner meet. Her defensive, just concern. But tears crocodile. He was mine. Was. Firm. Happily not. Closure clipped, but ripples. Jake's sleep fractured. Nightmares of phases. Therapy resumed. Joint now. Sessions unpacking closets. Emerging stronger. Fall harvest steadied, but high drama crested October. Youth center break-in. Queerlit torched. Message scrawled. Burn the books. Jake led. Fury leashed. Evidence pointing fringe. Tyler's cousin. Radicalized online. Raid dawn. Arrest clean. But press swarmed. Sheriff's bias? Dad Harlan defended public. My boy's fair. Trial loomed winter. Tensions taut. Holiday strained. Family dinner. Toast cautious. But under table, Jake's hand anchored. New Year vow. Unity. Center rebuilt grander. Murals mine. Phoenix rising. But personal peak. Fertility talks deepened. Foster approval process. Home study probing. Ready? Social worker asked. Eyes kind. Jake's arm around me. Born. First placement spring. Twins. 5. Wide-eyed wary. Chaos joyful. Crayon streaking walls. Bedtime stories trios. Daddies. They lisped. Hearts melting. Prejudice peaked. School whispers. Playdate snubs. But community rallied. Lena Annie fierce. Theo uncle tales. Climax familial. Dad Harlan's remission party. Backyard strung lights. Speech slurred sentimental. Wrong once. Love right. Hug encompassed us all. Tears salt sweet. Summer solstice. Lake revisit. Anniversary picnic. Kids splashing. Full circle. Jake murmured. Twins giggling. More circles. Promise infinite. Yet autumn winds whispered test. Jake's promotion bid. Chief. Citywide. Bigger fights. Temptation tugged. Go. With you. But compromise. Consult. Not commit. Decision deferred. Love's path meandering true. Conflicts conquered. Growth eternal. Years layered like autumn leaves. Elmwood's edges softening under our tread. The twins. Ellie and Finn. Now 7. Whirlwinds of curiosity and chaos. Their laughter the house's heartbeat. Foster to adopt seamless. Court day tears and triumphs. Names etched legal. My studio expanded. Gallery in Dayton. Shows selling steady. Canvases capturing queer joy. Intertwined hands under rainbows. Uniforms cradling crayons. Jake's chief bid one narrow. Desk more than streets. But influence rippled. Reforms statewide. Panels preaching inclusion. Life's tapestry wove rich. Theo's wedding to his librarian. Books exchanged vows. Lena's baby via surrogate. Godparents us. Nursery murals mine. Family dinners sprawled. Mom's lasagna. Dad Harlan's stories thawing to pride tales. But beneath bliss, drama's undercurrent swirled. Prejudices mutating sly. Misunderstanding struck subtle. 8th anniversary eve. Jake late from banquet. Suit rumpled. Lipstick smudge feign on collar. Waitress flirt. Paranoia. Old as prom. Surged. Home. Accusation slipped. Whose mark? He blinked, then laughed tired. Cousin's kid. Cake fight. Proof. Photo texted. Frosting war. Relief crashed, but apology raw. Ghosts again. Talk. He urged, arms enveloping. Therapy's toolbox. Session unpacked. My fear of whim, echo. His guilt for past pains. Emerged tighter. Date night reclaimed. Diner redux. Black coffee toasts. Bigger storm brewed external. State election. Candidate anti-LGBT plank blatant. Bans on indoctrination. Foster revokes. Elmwood pulse quickened. Protests planned. Jake testified Capitol. Voice steady. Protection, not prejudice. Backlash bit. Hate mail piled. Station vandalized, stars slashed. Kids sensed, nightmares returning. Bad people hate us? Bedtime soothes, love louder. But toll mounted, Jake's migraines, my sketches darkening. Climax crested rally day, Capitol steps thronged, signs waving fierce. We brought the twins, sitters nixed, family fights. Chants swelled, then countermarch, fringe furious, barriers straining. Breach happened fast, surge, shouts turning shoves. Jake shielded, body blocker, but boot connected, knee buckling. I scooped Finn, Ellie on hip, pushing back as medics rushed. Hospital wait eternal, twins dozing laps, mom pacing. Fracture clean, surgery swift, but recovery loomed. Crutches, PT grind. Homecoming heroes, banner strung, Lena's lasagna waiting. But nights, pain etched, he confessed. Done. Chiefs enough, delegate the fire. Wise. Kiss forehead. Us first. Healing wove reflection. Sabbatical planned. Road trip coast. To beaches, redwoods, horizons broadening. Twins thrilled, adventure. Maps marked, playlist queued. Highway unspooled freedom, stops serendipitous. Queer Archive San Francisco, murals mine-inspired. Portland Pride, stories swapped. Jake's limp faded, spirit soared. This, recharge. But en route east, call shattered. Dad Harlan stroke, critical. Deter urgent, ICU beeps mocking. Proud, he rasped, hand frail in Jake's. Of you. Both. Vigil family deep, reconciliation complete. Letters penned, regrets aired. Passing gentle, funeral throng honoring reformer late bloom. Grief crested, but legacy lingered. Foundation is name, youth scholarships. Jake shouldered, stronger. Fall returned renovated. House addition, studio loft for me, office for him. Twins school settled, friends diverse. But personal tension simmered. Gallery offer. New York solo show, month away. Go, Jake urged. Shine. But us. Fear flickered. Roots hold. Trust tested, but phone calls nightly. His voice anchor. Miss your chaos. Return triumphant. Sold pieces, buzz building. Welcome wild. Twins tackle hugs. Jake's ring twist nervous. Dinner candlelit. Kids abed. Proud. And. News. Pause heart stop. Yeah. Baby. Surrogate. Lena's lead. Due spring. Joy exploded. Tears. Toasts. Plans tumbling. Family grows. Winter nested. Ultrasounds wonders. Kicks shared palms. But prejudice's last gasp. School board challenge. No queer books. Targeting Theo's donations. Petition drive ignited. Jake keynoting. Knowledge freeze. Vote swung. Shelf stayed. Spring bloomed bundle. Sun. Owen. Cries robust. Eyes Harlan blue. Nursery soft. Murals starry. Dreams ceiling bound. Summer solstice. Lake picnic redux. For kids now. Splashing. Jake and I toes water dipped. Full. He asked arm round. Overflow. Kiss salt sweet. Years cascaded. Owen toddling. Twins teens testing. Crushes confessed. Identities explored. My exhibits national. Jake's reforms model. Friendships fortified. Theo's kids cousins play. Lena's clan barbecues. Conflict crested teen drama. Finn's coming out. School bully echo. Jake coached calm. I sketched shields. You're enough. Resolution school assembly. Finn's speech. Brave. Love spectrum. Own yours. Applause thundered. Change rippled. Autumn wedding vow renewal. Lakeside again. Guests swelled. Dad's foundation honored. Vows deepened. Through every storm, you my calm. Dance floor spun. Kids giggling. Future bright. Yet final arc whispered. Retirement loom. Jake 50. Knee protesting. Travel, he mused. World with you. Deal. Plans hatched. Europe trails. Asia arts. Departure eve. Porch swing creek. Hated you once, I teased. Love now. Laughter eternal. Elmwood faded rear view. But hearts anchored. Love's drama. Eternally unfolding. Conflicts conquered. Joys infinite.